Hey guys, it's Doc Apocalypse here with Apocalypse MTG. Got day 5 spoilers, and we have a absolute ton of cards to go through. So let's get right into it. However, if you haven't liked and subscribed on yet, which most of you haven't subscribed yet, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you like this. You can wait till the end if you want, but I prefer you do it now. But let's hop right into it, alright? So the first thing, we've got Anchor to Reality. This is a 2 and a blue sorcery speed spell. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Search your library for an equipment or vehicle card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. If the mana value is less than sacrificed permanent mana value, scry 2. So if you're just sacrificing a blood token or whatever, then you won't be able to scry 2. But if you feel like you're forced to sacrifice a creature, an artifact that you actually paid CMC for, then so be it, and you can scry 2. I really don't see that scry 2 being used a whole often, especially since it's at sorcery speed. You're not going to be able to respond with this spell, but I like the ability to sacrifice a blood token or a food token or something and be able to search out a equipment or vehicle, especially a vehicle card, and put it onto the battlefield. So this is a good card. It's not, I don't love this card, but it's not bad. I mean, for 4 CMC, it's a little expensive. But with that, let's go on to the next one. The next one is Cloudsteel Kieran. 2 and a white. This is an artifact creature equipment, Kieran. It's got flying. Equipped creature has flying. And for all you guys out there, you can't lose the game and your opponent can't win the game. Yay, another one of these cards so now we have to run some kind of removal specifically for this card. If we see a white land come out, it's like, okay, gotta watch out for the Cloudsteel. But it's got a reconfigure cost of 5, so this isn't a turn 3 play at turn 4, now you can't lose the game. But I still see this being abused, especially if you. My idea earlier was I'm going to use Cloudsteel in a Selesnya deck with Toski. So I play out Toski. I keep having fun with it. It's not going to get removed. It's a 1/1. People will generally chump with it. And then I give it this when I have the chance and the reconfigure ability. So now I have an indestructible flying. Draw me a card and they can't win the game. That's a lot of fun. This is gonna have some shenanigans with it, like it has in the past. And again, it's an equipment, so when it falls off, it doesn't go away. You can't just kill off the creature this is equipped to get rid of it like an enchantment normally would be. This is an equipment, so yeah, this is gonna cause a whole lot of headaches. Let's go on to the next one. Essence Capture. Right, this is a blue instant counter target creature spell. So this is counter spell with a plus side. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control. It's a little bit harder to cast than counter spell because it's 2 blue instead of a colorless and a blue. But I mean, honestly, a lot of the blue players will have 2 blue mana held up anyway for counter spells. So this is just counter spell with a plus side, if you ask me. So yeah, we've seen this a bunch of times. Let's go on to the next one. Another go of Hidden Cruelty. I hate whatever that word is. I will learn it eventually. It's 3 and a black. Legendary enchantment creature shrine with Death Touch. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1. When you do, destroy target creature with toughness X or less when X is the number of shrines you control. So again, this is going right back into a shrines deck with all the other shrines under the sun. And I love the pay 1 and destroy something of theirs. I mean, on its face, just base value, this is a 4 mana 2/2 where you get to pay 1 every turn to get rid of one of their pesky tokens. Their 1/1 tokens. So this is not terrible. Or this is a get rid of their Scoot Swarm before it gets out of control. This is a great card. This is get rid of the 3/1 that you don't want to block because it's going to kill your 2/2 or it's going to trade with your 3/3 and you don't want to trade a 3/3 for a 3/1, you know? So I love this card. Plus it's got Death Touch. I mean, everything with Death Touch is awesome. It automatically becomes more valuable when it has Death Touch. Only thing that better if it had Menace too. Let's go into our first saga of the night. This is Inspired Iteration. This is 3 and a blue for return up to 1 target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand. Step 2, so on turn 5, return an artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. If you can't, draw a card. So this, at least this isn't a dead in your hand kind of card. So I really do like this step 2 compared to some of the other ones that I believe we'll see today. Because the if you can't draw a card is really nice. There's other ones that say it does X, and basically if you can't do that, then it's just a lost turn where that saga is just rotting away on the battlefield. And then it's turn 3, so this actually then the last step for turn 6, I guess, is gonna give you Living Inspiration. This is a 3/3 enchantment creature, Moonfolk, with flying. Whenever you cast a spell, your opponent can't cast spells with the same mana value as this spell until your next turn. So, especially in the late game, this is just absolutely painful. This is a play something for 4 CMC, 5 CMC, or whatever. Especially even if you're playing against blue. And they're like, oh, I'm going to counter that. And you're like, and I'm going to counter your counter. And now next turn you can't play any counter spells. You can't play anything for 2 or whatever. Oof, this could be very painful very quickly for your opponent. Just locking them out of an entire group of cards that may or may not be on curve. Like that's really, really good. So this is going to see a lot of play in everything. And this has got potential in even eternal formats. Next one is Invoke Gauls. It's 1 and a blue, 4 blue pips. Gain control of target artifact or creature and untap it. So this is awesome. It's at sorcery speed, so that kind of sucks. But at least it does untap it for you. So, and you get to gain control, and it's not until end of turn. It's just straight up gain control. So this is the mono blues. I like to play control, but I want to be able to kill you still. And just take control of your big one. When you think you got me dead to rights and you play out that big one because I'm all tapped out, and you're like, ha, he can't counter this big bad. And then I'm like, all right, next turn I just take it from you. Like, you can play it out. I'm going to take it. That's really cool too. And it because you're untapping it, it's already got through its summoning sickness. You're good to go. It's basically a head haste. I love this card. This could be a lot of fun to play. Next is Light Paws, Emperor's Voice for a 1 and a white legendary creature, Fox Advisor. All right. Whenever an aura enters the battlefield under your control, if you cast it, you may search your library for an aura card with mana value less than or equal to the auras and with different names than each aura you control. Put that card onto the battlefield attached to Light Paws, Emperor's Voice, then shuffle. This is a 2/2. All right. This is amazing for Commander. Like, it's not, it's begging people. It truly is begging people to play mono white Commander, because I am going to build this Light Paws deck when I get her. This is an amazing auras deck. You can break this so bad because it's just gonna be pumping out auras like crazy, and you're gonna be pumping auras all over the battlefield. And then if you get wiped, she searches your library for auras, so you're just gonna keep bringing them in. You're just gonna keep bringing them from your library into and getting them out, and then there's graveyard recursion for all sorts of spells and stuff. So when you get wiped and you lose those auras, you can just bring them back from the graveyard with other stuff. It's not like Light Paws needs to be able to do everything, but she does do everything for auras, just about. So let's move on to the next one. March of Wretched Sorrows. This is an X and a black. We've seen these X and Wooburg color or whatever colors before. This is the black version with it's an instant. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may exile any number of black cards from your hand. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each card exiled this way. March of Wretched Sorrows deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, and you gain X life. This is going to see limited and standard play through and through, easy all day, because I'm going to pick this up as soon as I see it in limited. Because this basically says, hey, that card that's rotting in your hand, use it to kill off a 2/2. Or there's an unanswerable super big and you just weren't able to pull removal spells, there you go. Or you're able to hold up, and now black is able to hold up a single black mana and still be able to kill something that's big. Yes, you have to discard, but in a reanimator deck, this is money right here, because you're casting these, or you're throwing these into the graveyard, removing something, and then reanimating them out of the graveyard the way you wanted to anyway. So half of the issue of getting things into your graveyard is now eliminated by March of Wretched Sorrows. So yeah, this is going to see a lot of play. Maybe even in Eternal formats, I really do see this. Maybe not Legacy, but Modern will play it, I'm sure. Move on to the next one. Mobilizer Mech. This is 1 in a blue artifact vehicle with flying. It's a 3/4. Whenever Mobilizer Mech becomes crewed, up to one other target vehicle you control becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. This has a crew 3, so the 1/1 colorless pilots that we've been seeing getting pooped out of every thing that can possibly make a token, they can power this. They can crew this, And so with one of those pilots, this Mobilizer Mech, and any other vehicle on the battlefield, now that one pilot can crew 2 of them, essentially. You crew this vehicle says that vehicle's essentially crewed. It becomes an artifact creature and therefore can attack until end of turn. So yeah, this is a really good vehicles deck, is coming together just swimmingly. We are going to have so much fun with vehicles. Haven't really been a deck. It's not a tribe. I've never seen tribal vehicles before, other than in like fringe stuff. People wanting to build some kind of weird quirky commander deck. It's not real high power. Oh yeah, vehicles are definitely a thing now. This is gonna be a thing. Maybe not like tier 1 tournament level, but yeah, this is a lot of fun. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Now we got another Saga. This is a 2-white Saga, and step 1. So on turn 3, exile target creature an opponent controls with mana value 4 or greater. We see this in white all the time. They say if you want to exile stuff, it's got to be big. Okay, fine. Step 2, on turn 4, each player gains control of all permanents they own. I'm not sure what they were trying to get at with this. I understand that there is stuff that can steal. We just talked about the blue steal your opponent's creature, but I don't think that I'm going to have a Saga specifically dedicated to trying to counteract that card after it's been cast. There might be some shenanigans that I'm not seeing here, or they haven't come out yet in the new set, where this particular step is going to mean something. But unless you're using this in a commander like local meta that one guy loves to run, I steal everybody's creatures stuff, and you just want to hose him real bad one day, then I could see playing this, and that would really piss him off. But it's only gonna last once, and people are gonna be like, dude, that was kind of shitty. Anyway, the final step is just like every other Saga. You exile it and you flip it over. Enchanted creature Human Noble is called Fragment of Kodana. It's a 1/3 with Defender. Whenever Fragment of Konda dies, draw a card. So this is just Defender, and when it leaves the battlefield, you draw a card. That's, what was the cost on this? 3 CMC for a single exile and a Defender, draw a card? No, it's overpriced for what it does. It's too slow, and a 1/3 Defender on turn 5 is not good enough. It's just not good enough, not even for white. So let's just move on. Light the Way. This is a white instant. All right, just a single pip of white. Choose one, put a 1/1 counter on target creature or vehicle and untap it, or return target permanent you control to its owner's hand. A bounce spell for white, that's cool. Where you can protect your own stuff, or be able to give your creature pseudo vigilance with a 1/1 counter on it to boot. I mean, that's not bad, but it's not great. Let's move on to the next card because it's going to tie in well with this card, actually. The next one is Enormous Energy Blade. It's 2 and a black, artifact equipment. At first sight, this looks horrible. Tying it in with Light the Way, it's not so bad. Equipped creature gets +4/+0. Whenever Enormous Energy Blade becomes attached to a creature, tap that creature. And that right there, tap that creature, is a pain. It's got an equip cost of 2, so it's really 5 CMC to equip a creature for +4/+0. So it's good for the Voltrons, for the Samurais. Like, yeah, this is really cool to give to your one Samurai that can attack because you're trying to do this culturally relevant single Samurai combat. Everyone else stays back and to protect the wall type thing. But if you bring it back, you use an Enormous Energy Blade, you equip it for 2, and then you play a single pip to Light the Way, and you give a 1/1 counter to it. Now you've given 5/1 to that creature, and you've untapped it, so it's ready for battle. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I mean, the main issue is that it's just you're spending 6 mana at this point to give your one creature +5/+1. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's move on to the next one. You can use this as you will. This isn't tier 1, but I think that's a cool line to follow if you're trying to do that white-black deck anyway. So, just a thought. The next one is Haiko Yamazaki, the General. This is a 3 and a red legendary creature human samurai for 3/3. It has trample. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, you may cast target artifact card from your graveyard this turn. So this is the kind of commander or just creature that you want to give that 3/3 or give that sword to. Give her the +1/+1. So now you've made her into an 8/4. That's really good. An 8/4 with trample, that's really good. Again, setting this all up, now you're at 6 plus 4, so now you're at 10 total mana spent to get to this point. Breaking it up over time, it's just gonna be a little difficult. But hey, I mean, if you can make it work, you turn 3 this Enormous Energy Blade. All right. Turn 4, you play out Haiko, and then turn 5, you equip it the Energy Blade for 2. You play the Light for 1. Now you're at 3, so you still have 2 CMC left, and you can attack with Haiko Yamazaki, the General, as an 8/4. That's not the worst game plan. It's thin legs to stand on, but it works. It works. So let's move on to the next one. Inkrise Infiltrator. This is 1 and a black creature, human ninja with flying. It has a 4 CMC, 3 and a black to get +2/+2 until end of turn. So it turned into a 3/4 for essentially 4 CMC every single turn. This is not the card that you're going to be playing to actually attack with. This is the card you're going to play to ninjutsu it back to your hand because you can play it out for 2. It's got flying. You attack with it. It goes unblocked because it has flying, and then you ninjutsu this out for something that actually does damage. It actually does something when it hits the opponent. So I think the +2/+2 was just flavor text to make this card not look so boring. But I mean, hey, every once in a while it might be the game winner right there. If you're swinging and you don't have quite enough, you can pay 4, I guess, and give it +2/+2 if you have nothing in hand or whatever. Like, you just want to get that extra damage in, and you're getting lots of lands, I guess. But it's an alright card. Next one is Enganto's Uprising. I probably said that terribly wrong, but I really do like this card a lot. It's X and Rakdos, sorcery. Create X 2/2 white samurai creature tokens with vigilance. They gain menace and haste until end of turn. Each opponent creates X -1 2/2 white samurai creature tokens with vigilance. So, let's say you've got 7 mana available, and you have your Rakdos, obviously. You've played to the point where your board state has stalled. You both have near equal, maybe they have like one less, or they have the same amount of creatures as you, and they're essentially evenly matched. Because that's generally speaking what happens, is you get into a board state where if neither of you plan to have a lot of removal or board wipes available, or they're just buried in your deck somewhere, then you can get in this stalled state where you basically have the same creatures out almost, just different names, and neither of you want to attack through because either you're going to absorb it and then snap back and kill them, or other shenanigans. So you just got to stall board state. This can break that stall and win you the game, because you're going to create 5 2/2 white samurai creature tokens with menace and haste. So you're able to attack with all 5 of those 2/2s with menace and haste. All right. So it's going to take 2 of their creatures, and you're only giving them 4 because it's X minus 1. So they're only going to get 4 2/2s, which can only block 2 of your 5. So now you've got 3 2/2s swinging through with haste, and then the rest of your creatures. So the goal is to play this out and get enough damage between them trying to block all these 2/2s and or block all yours and let those 2/2s run through, that you can get past them. It's just a really good, and every mana you can spend past, I really think 7 is the minimum here. Then that's the main issue. 7's the minimum here. If you can pay 7, 8, 9, 10, everyone after 7 is just a nail in the coffin for your opponents, because every one after that takes 2 more to block. So it basically is giving you an extra person to get through every time, because you're just narrowing their ability to stop those creatures. So I cannot say it enough. This is just such an amazing card. Let's go to the next one. Next one is Nizumi Blade Blesser. All right, this is 2 and a black creature, rat samurai. It's a straight up common. Nizumi Blade Blesser has death touch as long as you control an artifact. Nizumi Blade Blesser has menace as long as you control an enchantment. It's a 3/2. So a 3/2 with death touch and menace. In this meta that we're going to be going into, having an artifact and an enchantment is not going to be hard. Not going to be hard at all. So for 3 CMC for a 3/2 with death touch and menace is amazing. Death touch and menace are my 2 favorite styles here to have, because no one wants to block them, and if they do, they have to take 2 of their creatures has to die with this. That's just not fun trades. So a lot of times this is going to get through. Just going to get through. So if you have a way to give this lifelink, then you're really sitting pretty. Well, let's move on to the next one. Alrighty, this is our 3rd saga for today. It's Okiba Reckoner Raid. Alright, this is 1 black mana. It's just a single black mana. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life for turn 1 and turn 2 if you play this out in turn 1. Turn 3, you exile the saga like all of them, and you get Nizumi Road Captain. This is a rat rogue enchantment creature with menace. Vehicles you control have menace. That's all the text says. But it's a 2/2 with menace that gives all your vehicles menace on turn 3, and you've pinged all of your opponents, whether it's just 1v1 in standard or whether it's in commander, for 2, and you've gotten 2 life. So now you're up 4 health to everyone else, and you have a 2/2 with menace. That's not bad. That's not a terrible trade, especially since you're just paying it for 1 and letting it do its thing while you're continuing to play the game on turn 2, turn 3, so on and so forth. So this is great. I mean, this is a auto occlude for vehicle decks if you're playing it in black, and there's just nothing else to it. It's a great card. Let's move on to the next one. Oni Cult Anvil. It's a Rakdos artifact. Whenever one or more artifacts you control leave the battlefield during your turn, create a 1/1 colorless construct artifact creature token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Tap, sacrifice an artifact. Oni Cult Anvil deals 1 damage to each opponent, and you gain 1 life. This was built for Commander. If this is not in one of their Commander sets for this set, I don't know what will be, because wow, this is amazing. This is definitely going into my Vampire Blood Tokens deck with Strephon, because whenever one or more artifacts you control leave the battlefield, that means if I sacrifice a Blood Token, which I'll be creating a ton of in that set, or in that deck, I just using it for its original intended purpose, I get a 1/1 construct artifact creature token, and I can do that on all 3 of my opponent's turns as well. So I'm getting 4 1/1s every single go around the table. That is amazing. Plus, I can sacrifice those 1/1 constructed 1/1 constructs on one of those turns if I just don't have enough blood tokens, and I create another one. So it's basically free to do 1 damage to everyone, and I gain 1 life. So in theory, one go around the table, I get to deal 1 damage, gain 1 life. I get to rummage my cards from it, and I get to create 4 1/1 colorless constructs. That is amazing. That is amazing. This is, especially at uncommon. Oh my god. This is probably going to be a not a expensive uncommon, but this is not going to be a cheap uncommon either compared to all of the other uncommons that are out there. This is just going to be an auto include in a lot of Rakdos decks, because it's so easy to make tokens nowadays with all the artifact treasures and then everything. This is just, yeah, this is great. And if you can't see that, then we need to talk. We need to talk some more, because this is amazing. Alrighty, next card. We've got Prosperous Thief. Alright, this is 2 and a blue, creature, human, ninja. It's got ninjutsu for 1 and a blue. It's a 3/2. Whenever one or more ninja or rogue creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Alright, so when you ninjutsu this out for that black flyer that we talked about earlier, because it was getting through, you're going to create a treasure token. So this is, in all essence, really cost 2 to play, or 1 blue pip to play. That's it. To ninjutsu this, and it costs 1 blue pip, because it's going to create a treasure token. Because it is a ninja, it creates a treasure token. Alright? And if you've got other ninjas swinging through, other little babies, if you're not doing that samurai stuff, if you're going ninja rogue style, and you swinging a whole bunch of ninjas and rogues in, then you might create a whole bunch of treasure tokens this turn. And every turn after that, until Prosperous Thief is either dealt with or ninjutsu'd back out to be able to ninjutsu her in again later. I don't think you would do that, but this is just a really good ninjutsu card. It's great. It works. It does its job. It's efficient, and that's all I can say. This is actually where my first set of recordings was supposed to end, but then they released more cards, and more cards, and more cards. So we're just going to keep on going. The next one is Selfless Samurai. 1 and a white. If Selfless sounds familiar, it's because it's basically a selfless savior. Alright, this is a 2/2 though. Creature, Fox, Samurai. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, it gains lifelink until end of turn. So better than Selfless Samurai. Alright. And if you sacrifice Selfless Samurai, another target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. Selfless Savior. Alright. So this is, oh god, the Samurai deck is just coming together. Rakdos Samurais, I think, is really going to be a big thing. Maybe red, black, white. That might be the thing. But I think that the red, white Samurais are going to be really a lot of fun. Because now you're gaining lifelink off of that one. You're almost like Aura Voltroning your single samurai. I mean, you're getting lifelink, you're getting indestructible, you're getting all sorts of craziness, double strike, whatever, just from attacking alone. So this is just another bomby if you're focusing on that samurai single attack. I love it. Next one. Soul Transfer. This is 1 and a black, alright? This is a sorcery speed. choose one. But if you control an artifact and an enchantment, you can cast a spell and you may choose both. All right, so for 1 and a black, if you have an artifact and enchantment, you can exile a target creature or planeswalker and return target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. That is awesome. That's a really good value to be able to remove a creature and bring something from your recur something from your graveyard back to your hand. That's just perfect. Perfect. And an artifact and enchantment, like I said earlier, is not impossible to do. It's super easy to get an artifact and enchantment onto the battlefield. So, and chances are you're not going to play this on curve. You're going to play this as a retaliatory removal or something along those lines. So, I love it. This is a really, really, really good black card. Again, this set is wildly powerful. This is going to be the most powerful set in Standard, if you ask me. But we're only halfway through it, and it is just so strong. Next one. We have Spell Piercer. This is a single blue pip, instant, counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2. As if blue needed another cheaper counter spell. I mean, there's just so much. Oh my god. I get that it's only to pay 2, but this is your early game counter spell because they're going to be trying to stay on curve. And if they don't stay on curve, then you just wait until their second spell. If worst case scenario, this is I get a slightly less good spell off the battlefield card, which is still better than not having the ability to, especially you only leave 1 blue up. They're going to be like, he's got a Fading Hope. Fading Hope will suck, but Spell Piercer now is another worry, and that stinks way worse than Fading Hope. Because Fading Hope just means I have to replay it next turn. It tempos me down, but this gets it out of my hand. That's rough. So, I'm not happy about this card, but it's not bad. Next one is Spinning Wheel Kick. I hate everything with 2 X's in it. I've never seen an XX card that I've ever been happy to play. They work a lot of times, but I hate this. This is an XX green sorcery, so it's at sorcery speed as well. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each of X target creatures and or planeswalkers. That's just terrible. There's stuff like Blizzard Brawl still in Standard that is just way better. It doesn't cost as much. It gives your creature indestructible, so who cares that it's like this? The only way this is actually no, it's not. It doesn't even work with Vessel of All Consuming or whatever, because it's not dealing it to the player. So this is just nope. I don't like it. It's so expensive. I mean, at a minimum, 4 mana to be able to deal your creature's damage to another creature or planeswalker. That's just not. It's in a singleton format when there's not nearly as many cards as Magic has. Then I could see it, but no, this is just bad. This should have been a common card. Next one is Spirit Sister's Call. This is 3 and a white-black. It's an enchantment. It's a mythic enchantment. Alright, Spirit Sister Call says, at the beginning of your end step, choose target permanent card in your graveyard. You may sacrifice a permanent that shares a card type with the chosen card. If you do, return the chosen card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and it gains, if this permanent would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. So this is really important because now you're able to, with the way things have been worded recently, you've got artifact, creature, enchantment, vehicle, legendary, something, everything under the sun in a single name, that you're able to bring back so many things off of a single card. Like, yes, it doesn't bring back multiple cards. However, your choices is not so limited. Like, it wasn't like you have to sacrifice your Soul Ring to be able to get back an artifact that you actually want versus which you're always going to want a soul ring. But that's just my example. Or you have to sacrifice your good creature to get a better creature back. You can sacrifice a cheap 1/1 legendary equipment creature artifact rat or whatever and get back your Vorin clicks, or you could get back your soul ring. Like, that is how big the range is. It's an artifact and a creature. Yeah, this is a really good card, and it's an enchantment. It's not a spell. This is at your end step. Every time you get to do this on your end step. This is you have to answer this enchantment, or it's just gonna run away. It's just gonna start saying, "Hey, I play out something cheap, and then I get my big bad out of the graveyard." Yeah, this is really good. But anyway, let's go on to the next one. All right, this is our first legendary land for the day. I believe this is the only one. Takanuma Abandoned Mire. All right, this is a legendary land. Taps for a black. This is our black legendary land. Channel for 4 CMC, 3 and a black. If discard Takanuma Abandoned Mire, mill 3 cards. Then return a creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. This ability costs 1 less to cast for each legendary creature you control. We've seen very similar text on other legendary cards, so I'm not going to go over this again, but the channel cost is great if you've got a ton of lands, just to be able to mill a little bit and get the creature that you want back out of your graveyard. That's a fair cost, and plus it comes in untapped and taps for a black mana, so it's not any worse than a basic. It's the exact same as a basic, but with an upside. So let's just move on to the next one. Fang of Shigeki. It's a single green mana 1/1 snake ninja with death touch, but it's an enchantment creature. All right, so other than the fact that it's an enchantment creature and a ninja, it's just got death touch. It's a 1/1 death touch for 1. That's not bad. We've seen those played a lot, so I mean, this will see a lot of limited play and some standard play, but that's it. I don't see this going much farther than that. And we'll simply move on to the next card. Reckoner Bankbuster. All right, this is the last card of this set, or not of the set, of this video. This is a 2 colorless mana artifact vehicle that's a 4/4. All right, Reckoner Bankbuster enters the battlefield with 3 charge counters on it. 2 and a tap, remove a charge counter from Reckoner Bankbuster, draw a card. Then, if there are no charge counters on Reckoner Bankbuster, create a treasure token and a 1/1 colorless pilot creature token with this creature crew's vehicles as though its power was 2 or greater. So here's another way to create one of those creatures, but you can just crew this as a 4/4 and get in using a 1/1 colorless pilot creature token that you've gotten from something else. Or you can pay 2 and tap it and remove a charge counter, and you get to draw a card, which it comes in with 3 charge counters on it. So this is 2 mana, draw 3 at its worst. If you don't use it as a vehicle, this is a 2 mana, draw 3 cards, which is a fair, if not good, cost. I mean, yes, I know it does cost 2 and a tap to draw the card. So yes, you're paying 2 mana for each card. Technically, it's 6-8 mana to draw 3, which isn't as good, but this is a good way to have a vehicle or options. Just having options. There's been too many times where I have had mana left over that I've left up and didn't need it, and then it's just like, well, what do I use this mana for before my turn? I can't. Now you have an outlet for that where you at least can draw a card. You can spend that mana that you would otherwise leave on the table and just untap everything else on your turn. You can at least use Bankbuster to draw a card before your draw step. That's awesome. So this is a really, 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 really good card, especially at rare. That's right where I would have put it. And it's cool art too. Look at that little mouse rat thing on a 3-wheeled monstrosity. But yeah, let's go and go to the next one. And that's it. I literally said that was the last card, and yet I still clicked next. Alrighty. let's go to our closer. All right. These are not all of the cards today. These are some of the cards today. But I want to know what you guys think was your favorite. Oni Cult Anvil is definitely one of my favorites for today because I love my vampires deck with Stefan Maurer Progenitor. It's a lot of fun to play. So that is going to go into it as soon as I can get my hands on one. Lightpaw, Emperor's Voice. I'm really excited to build a deck around a mono white deck for that. It may not be the most powerful deck in the world, but it's going to be fun because auras are always fun. But tell me what you guys think. What's your favorite? Did I mess something up here? If not, by all means leave a comment saying that I'm doing the best job you've ever seen and you're going to tune into every single video. I know it's a lie, but it'd make me feel better. All right. Let's go back to here. All right, so here's the worst part about all this, right? So we had all those cards. I know there was 20-some cards on there. We've got so many more cards that we covered today as well. So I really hope that you enjoyed this. It was a little bit longer. We're at 41 and a half minutes already, so I'm going to cut it short. Don't forget to like and subscribe down there. Likes over here, I think, and subscribes over there. You'll be seeing it popping up on the screen here shortly for my other videos from day 4 and on, as well as my channel. If you want to check it out, there's some videos on there, and then up top in that corner over there will be the the other thing. So yeah, as always, be kind and stay safe. God bless.